Hello and welcome to the Daily Courier-NG News, and this is the headlines. Europe prepares for war amid rising threats. European nations accelerating military preparations and defense spending. Vladimir Putin troops mobilization and stall peace talks raising alarm. Donald Trump's NATO founding demands pushing allies towards greater military investment, and multiple countries activating Cold War defenses and abandoning threats. Our next story focuses on Europe, a continent shaken out of its slumber and now rushing to be seen as doing something. European leaders have gone into overdrive, stockpiling weapons and preparing for war. But what has triggered this frenzy? Two men, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. Let's begin with the Russian president. Putin is mobilizing troops for the thousands and dragging his heels on peace talks. This has alarmed Europe as they fear the war in Ukraine could expand, and they don't want to be caught napping again. Consequently, Europeans are ramping up their defenses. The second catalyst is Donald Trump, the president of the United States, supposedly Europe's closest ally, but now the US is engaging directly with Russia, and Europe is worried about being sidelined. What worse, Trump has threatened to pull out of NATO, saying American protection comes at a price. He calls the Europeans freeloaders. Trump's made similar complaints during his last term, pushing NATO allies to spend at least 2% of their GDP on defense, the minimum requirements for all NATO members. Most failed to meet this threshold and received a stern rebuke from Trump. Now back in office, he has raised the bar to 5%, declaring anyone spending less bad NATO. Interestingly, the US itself doesn't spend 5%, but Trump's threats have nonetheless proven effective. Greece is among the first to react, already spending 3% of GDP on defense. They now plan to invest an additional 28 billion US dollars on new weapons over the next decade. This includes a missile defense shield similar to Israel's Iron Dome, which Greece intends to call the Achilles Shield, named after their most famous war hero from Greek mythology. The system will protect Greece against drone and missile attacks. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis visited Israel last week, meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss this missile defense shield and increase military cooperation. The Nordic countries are also preparing rapidly. Norway is restoring two Cold War-era bunkers that were built almost 40 years ago and later converted into tourist attractions. One bunker will house F-35 stealth fighter jets. Norway has 55 of these aircraft, protecting these costly warplanes from drone attacks. The second facility is an engineering marvel, a naval base buried within a mountain that will shelter Norwegian submarines. Sweden, Norway's neighbor and NATO's newest member, has deployed its Gripen fighter jets to Poland. A significant move as this marks the first time Swedish jets have operated beyond their own territory. This represents a major shift in doctrine for a country that maintained neutrality for nearly 200 years before joining NATO in March 2024. Now their jets patrol along the border with Ukraine. Sweden's defense minister emphasized this sends a message to Russia. We sure are reading when it comes to making sure that Russia can't be aggressive. We share the importance of having a strong transatlantic link and of keeping NATO strong. Finland is taking even more dramatic steps, first by increasing defense spending to 3%, a move that will certainly please Trump, and second by withdrawing from the International Landmines Treaty. This means Finland will now stockpile anti-personnel landmines designed to stop ground invasions. These weapons were banned in 1997 under the Ottawa Convention But Finland's prime minister blamed Russia for this decision. The security situation of Europe and Finland has fundamentally changed. Russia is and will remain a threat to all Europe. Finland aims to increase the level of our defense budget to at least 3% of GDP by 2029. We also propose that Finland start to prepare withdrawal from Ottawa Agreement. Finland isn't alone in exiting the landmines treaty. Poland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania also withdrew last month. What these nations share in common is a border with Russia, and they believe landmines would serve as a deterrent should the fighting in Ukraine expand. This makes one thing abundantly clear. Europe is preparing for war. However, only a handful of nations are taking this preparation seriously. Many still fail to spend even the minimum of 2% on defense, and several lack ammunition reserves that would last more than a few days. Trump's threats have jolted them into action, but the question remains, will it be enough for Europe to get its act together? Thank you for watching the Daily Courier NG. Please like and subscribe to this channel.